All right, so we are having a good day in the markets today. The market is up, which is good in some respects and not so good in other respects. So we'll talk about that as we go forward. Right now, we are looking at a gain close to $2,000 today, a bump of about 11% for the stocks that we own. If we look at the market as a whole today, looks like the stock market is only up at the time of this 403 points, which is 1.78%. However, the stocks that we have invested in so far have been pulling 11%. So I'm not a math guy. Well, I'm a little bit of a math guy, but that's about 5 to 6 times the return. So specifically, the holdings that we have today, the nice performers are American Airlines. That is doing pretty well today. Norwegian Cruise Line's up a decent amount. Two, which is a real estate investment trust, is up 37%. MFA is one of my favorite ones. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Is up 21%. IVR, which is Invesco, which you've watched the last couple videos, I've talked a lot about. That's up 43% just today. And let's see, an SVC, which is kind of a natural gas petroleum company out of, I think, of South Africa, is up 23% today. And then RWT, which is, hold on, it's a Redwood Trust, I think. It's another REIT, is up 16%. So stocks that we're watching, but we don't have any shares in. Let's see, boom, boom, boom. Let's go down here. Century, this is Cinemark. The movie chain is up 21%. And let's see, SeaWorld's down a little bit. It's basically break even. Hospitality company TH right here, they do accommodations and pretty much everything to take care of the oil workers in the Permian Basin is a little bit down, not too much. And Golden Entertainment is down a little bit. But for the most part, the big winners, we have one big winner down here at Cinemark. But for the most part, all the big winners are stocks that we hold. So that's really the reason why we're up 11%. So let's take a little bit of a look at what our holdings are. So I went ahead and updated our current prices and where we're at today. So really, we just have some of the early investments that we have are down. This one's about break even, and this one's coming back. I bought it a little early, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. We're going to talk about this one a little bit more anyway, and it won't really matter too much. But other than that, pretty much everything else is just crushing it. So 48, 37, 32, 15, 41, 30%, and that's in less than a month. So annualized, this rate of return is ridiculous. Year to date, we've cashed out 25% as pure profit. But today, what I wanted to do was we have the February 20th price we always look at here for all these stocks in my screener. I went in and put in the current price as of a couple minutes ago, and then I sorted it by upside. Basically, upside is just division between the February 20th price and the current price. So if we bought it at the price right now at the market price and it went back up to the February 20th, how much upside potential do we have? And then this one is just, we could just put recommendations. Let's put buy recommendations. And these are just based on percentages. I believe it's off of Zacks. So what we did here today is we put in a couple orders. So number one, Signet Jewelers, which I was a little bit worried about just because it's a mall. But it's been around forever. Oop. And so I decided, all right, this is cool. It's 6.82. I'm sorry, it's 6.94. I thought, okay, if it drops down just a little bit to 6.5, we'll buy some shares and we'll get in early. And if there's an upside to it, there's an upside of almost $8,000 off a $1,000 investment. So that's definitely worth taking a look at. MFA, which is one of the more highlighted REITs that has the biggest upside. This used to have an upside of like 7, but it took some profits today, which is fine. We own some of it, so I'm not really too worried about that. What I did want to talk about is a concept what they call a falling knife, which means that if you let a knife drop, there's more risk to try to catch it before it falls because not many people can do that. But there's also a big payoff to that as well. But if you let it just hit the ground and fall, anybody can pick it up and there's no payoff. So there's no there's nothing special you need to do, and the return doesn't end up being all that great. So what I wanted to see for MFA is I wanted to see when the market went up how much of a difference that it made. In the last 2 days, the market went up, and we are sitting here. This was almost at a dollar. It's almost up 76% in the last few days. So I thought, okay, well, if I can get this at 125, it's sitting at 140, and we're going to put in a bunch of shares on this. We're going to buy $2,000 on it. It has an upside of 11.5. So it's just, for me, this is one of the best deals out there as far as looking at something. So that was an automatic. CEQP, which is Crestwood, is another REIT, and that's at 5.55. We have 89% of the people saying that they would recommend buying it. So I'm not going to buy it at 480 because I don't want to buy it after somebody else took the gain on it. But if it goes down to 425, let's say we have a bad day, I'm willing to take that. We'll buy some shares, put 1,000 in it, and it basically will increase about $6,000 if we get up to normal. Which, looking at the news on the coronavirus, it looks like the numbers that we've been given prior were kind of scary, worst case numbers that really had no bearing in reality. And I think it's one of these things where they say, where Chicken Little says the sky is falling. So I don't necessarily think things are going to end up as bad as the worst case scenario they've been given us, because all the models have gone down. I mean dramatically down. So that being said, we don't want to be caught in case it does hit a second wave and things get really bad. We want to be protected from that as well, and we'll talk about that in a second. So for right now, I'm willing to basically get a buy of 425. We did have this before. I think it was like 150, so I think I adjusted this to just be a little bit more realistic, just to get a buy-in for that. IVR, which is Invesco, this one has just had a nice jump on it. This one used to be, I think, number 2 in our rankings, and we have a holding right here. I bought it at 290, and this was as a loss before. I think it was at 240 yesterday, so it's all the way up to 336 today. So I just figure, all right, if it goes down to 3, we'll buy 700 shares, put $2,000 in it, and we have an upside of about 11.5. From there, TRTX is another. What is TRTX? Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, it's basically another real estate investment trust. Has 67% of the people recommended buying it. We're leaving this one alone. We're not touching it. We're putting a limit order at 275. It's a 4. So it's going to take a lot for this limit order to actually get executed, which is fine. We'll just kind of kick it in our back pocket for now. EVRI, these are the places that do, this is the company that does ATMs and cash services for casinos. So this one we had, where do we have this? Do we have it or did we sell it? Yeah, we sold it, bought it at 225, sold it at 3. And it is sitting here at 322, which is fine. It's a little bit over what we sold it for. I still have a buy-in for EVRI for $2. Let's take a look and make sure that's still there. Yep, for $2, $500 a share. So this one is basically one of these that has a big upside. It's 100% buy. I have it at $2. We'll see what this does. The 100% buy, though, is, man, that just really jumps out at me. I'm almost thinking I almost want to bump this up to 3, but I don't want to be an automatic trigger on this in case it goes down. So I think what we might do, let's take a look and see where the upside would be if it was at 250. It would be at 575. So I think what we'll do here, and you get to see live trading as we do it. All right, so I did that on my phone. Let's go back to EVRI. So I canceled that one, and let's take a look. All right, EVRI, it's at 315. Let's plug this in here. So if it was at 250, all right, so I think what we'll do is we will do a limit buy. Make sure I keep the same amount here. So $1,000, it's going to be 400 shares. That's pretty easy math to do. Good for 90 days. Do it after hours. And make sure this goes through. Tell you what, we'll do this. We'll just update this while we have it. So this one will be updated. 400. Go down here, 400. 250. Make sure that's updated as well. All right, so place that one. Good, that one's taken. All right, so we're good with that. All right, so then I look at Norwegian Cruise Lines. That one actually did pretty well today. If we look at them, let's go to. So this one's up 7%. It's at 10.68, and I had a limit buy of 9. And I'm not opposed to that, but right now, the upside's only 4.47, which is still really, really good, by the way. I decided just to sideline this one. We'll kick this one off. So I deleted this order for now. I just want to put the money into some other ones that we did today. And then we left ERI, which is El Dorado Resorts. I had a limit buy earlier of, I think it was 9. No, maybe I just left it. I think I left it alone. It's at 9.75. So it's at 16. I don't really think that's going to be there. I think this one is doing really well. We may not end up ever even executing that one, but ERI right now, I bought it at 12. It's almost at 16. It's earning a 30% return. We'll see. If it dips down, I might take another look at it. But that is what we're looking. So overall, we canceled ERI. I canceled IVR. I canceled SSL. I canceled Norwegian Cruise Lines. We added in the ones in yellow. Crestwood, Invesco, MFA, and Signet Jewelers. And the sell limit orders, we had one at ERI for 16, but it's close to 16, and I'm not really sure that I really want to sell this one because this one's doing pretty well lately. And I don't really want to keep it and cash it because I don't necessarily have a place where I really want to absolutely put the money. So if I did, I would leave it there, but for right now, or actually let me back it up. I actually didn't necessarily want to sell this because I didn't necessarily need the money. So we're going to keep this stock in here. If I had a place where I really wanted to put a buy in, I'd cancel this and reallocate the money. But for right now, we're going to keep ERI where it's at right now. And then Invesco, I had a sell order at 350, and it's approaching that one. But I don't necessarily want to do that. I have a buy order right here. I don't necessarily want to have it so tight between 3 and 350. So we'll revisit this in our future videos and see what we're going to do next. But for right now, we're doing really well. We're back in the black. We're actually up 10%. If you remember yesterday, we were down overall, but we're up $1,000. And things are just getting started, folks. So 9% is nothing. When we're done, what we are aiming for with this strategy is I'm aiming for a 500 to 600% gain. So this is just nothing. This is literally the bottom of the barrel. So with that being said, I'll see you tomorrow.
To get more information on the sales cheat code, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. Also, down below in the video description, down there, there's a link that takes you to our website that gives you additional content, some additional freebies that we have, and gives you information on some programs that we have that have been proven to help people to make sales easy so that you can make the kind of money you want, live the lifestyle that you've always wanted, and not have to struggle in the process. And what might be the coolest thing of all is you don't have to put much effort into it. It truly is a cheat code that most people don't know about. And it's a cheat code that can change your life today. So click on the link below and let me help you start to experience these results starting right now.